My prediction of a 3-1 Habs win earlier tonight just didn't happen.
Yeah, don't quit your day job.
No.
It started out strong and not so much at the end. The Montreal Canadiens were in the sunny state of Florida this afternoon for their latest must-win game. And with less than 24 hours to go until the trade deadline, there's a good chance that for at least a few members of the current squad, today's matchup against the Panthers would be their last one in a Habs uniform. Thomas Plekanec rumored to be on the auction block. His agent said today that Plecky would not be willing to waive his no-trade clause. Habs take an early lead 4.5 minutes into the game. David Desjardins, great individual effort, brings it out in front, scores his 12th of the season, 1-0 Habs. 3 minutes later, Habs on the power play. PK Subban takes his time, gets the shot off, finds the back of the net. Habs up by 2. Panthers finally answer back, though. Keaton Ellerby from the point to Stephen Weiss goes top corner, cuts the lead to just 1. Early in the second, Florida on the power play. Sean Bergenheim takes it all the way up the side. His 14th ties it up at 2. Just 3 minutes later, Samuelson drops it back for Weiss, and he gets another one. 3-2 Panthers. 10 minutes into the third, Bergenheim to Weiss, and Brian Campbell gets the shot off, just his 4th of the year. Florida takes this one 4-2. Now, the good news is the Canadiens didn't move in lower down in the East. The bad news is because there's nowhere lower to go. Montreal sits in the Eastern Conference basement with 58 points, 10 points out of that final playoff berth, which asks the question, has the team just given up?
You'll have to ask them there. I hope not. I don't believe in that, and I think everybody has to play with the gumption and pride that is emblematic of this team and organization. That's not allowed in this on this team.
It's tough mentally right now, just because we're struggling, and every time something negative happens, we seem to sink. And we have to find a way to overcome that.
I think we have a lot of character on the team, and I think we proved it before. We had some breaks before, and we were able to bounce back.
3 other games to tell you about tonight, including one involving the Ottawa Senators, who made the only trade of the day, acquiring goalie Ben Bishop from the St. Louis Blues. More on that trade in a few minutes, but for now, New York Islanders at Ottawa, less than a minute in. 2-on-1, P.A. Parento to John Tavares with the shot, his 25th of the season, 1-0 New York. 12 minutes into the second, Senators on a power play. Erik Karlsson passes it to Milan Michalek, sitting in front, pokes it home, his 28th, ties things at 1. 5 minutes into the third, 2-1 Ottawa. Chris Neal intercepts the pass to Jim O'Brien, scores just his 2nd of the year. 3-1 Sens. Ottawa takes this one 5-2, including an empty netter. Karlsson's 2 assists gave him 65 points and the record for most points ever in a season by a Senators defenseman. San Jose and Minnesota, just over a minute into the first. Patrick Marleau dumps it in. Jamie McGinn centers to Tommy Wingels, just his 3rd of the year. 1-0 Sharks. 9 minutes in, Sharks up by 2. Cal Clutterbuck walks in, gets an awkward angle shot, finds the back of the net, cuts the lead to 1. Less than 2 minutes into the second, Wild on a power play. Nick Schultz ties it up at 2. His first goal in nearly 14 months. Scary moments for Sharks head coach Todd McClellan, who was hit in the head with a stick during a play in front of the bench early in the second. It almost looked like he fainted. Now, they brought out the stretcher, but he ended up walking with help to the locker room. 5 minutes left to play, tied at 3. Jared Spurgeon with the shot from the point. Jed Ortmeyer tips it in. Who? Jed Ortmeyer, his first goal of the year. Wild takes this one 4-3. Chicago to Anaheim, 11 minutes into the first. Blackhawks on the power play. Patrick Kane gets the shot off, his 14th of the season. 1-0 Chicago. 20 seconds left in the period. Nick Bonino gets it in front, and Andrew Cogliano hammers it home, his 12th. Ties it at once. 12 minutes into the second, Francois Beauchemin centering pass to Sheldon Brookbank with the shot, his 2nd. 2-1 Ducks. Nearly 5 minutes into the third, Ducks on a power play. Ryan Getzlaf to Teemu Selanne, his 21st. They take it 3-1. Now Selanne also managed an assist tonight, moves him into 20th place on the NHL's career scoring list. A few matinee games to tell you about. Tampa Bay and New Jersey. The Devils have won 4 of their last 5 games. First period, New Jersey opens the scoring. Lexi Ponikarovsky in front all by himself. Gets it past Matthew Gaudreau. His 12th of the year. 1-0 Devils. Second period, Steven Stamkos to Martin St. Louis. Beats Marty Brodeur, his 20th of the season. Ties things up at 1. 5 minutes to go in the second. Lightning on a power play. Teddy Purcell gets it in front. St. Louis again. 2-1 Tampa Bay. Scoring continues in the third. 4-2 Lightning. Now New Jersey's on a power play. Patrick Elias to Ilya Kovalchuk. And Zach Parise walks in, gets the shot off, hits the crossbar and goes in. His 23rd cuts the lead to 1. That's as close as they get, though. Tampa Bay takes this one. 4-3 final. Columbus at Pittsburgh. The Penguins have won 2 in a row. They sit in 4th place in the East. 10 minutes into the second, Columbus shorthanded Rick Nash all alone in front. Trade rumors not affecting his play. 1-0 Blue Jackets. Less than a minute to go in the period. Penguins on a power play. James Neal to Steve Sullivan, and Evgeny Malkin makes it look so easy. His 37th ties it up at 1. Third period, 2-1 Pittsburgh. Penguins on the power play. Richard Park back to Chris Letang off the post and in. 3-1 Penguins. They go on to take this one 4-2. And while for the most part it's been a pretty quiet Sunday leading up to tomorrow's 3 p.m. trade deadline, the St. Louis Blues made a move this afternoon. Blues have dealt goalie Ben Bishop to the Ottawa Senators in exchange for a second-round pick in the 2013 entry draft. The 25-year-old was due to become a free agent this summer, but he did agree to a 1-year extension. Now the Blues are pretty crowded in net as it is, with both All-Star Brian Elliott and former Habs Yaroslav Halak still under contract. Bishop's been among the best goalies in the AHL this season, and at 6'7", he's now the tallest goalie in the NHL. He joins the Sens less than a week after Craig Anderson underwent surgery for a severed tendon in his right hand, an injury he suffered after accidentally cutting his finger in the kitchen while cooking. We're going to take a break. When Sports Night returns, the McGill women's hockey team was hoping to keep their playoff hopes alive this afternoon. And Canadian tennis star Milos Raonic tries to make history. Details after this. Welcome back. He's just 21 years old, but Milos Raonic was hoping to make Canadian sports history today in Memphis as he attempted to become the first ever Canadian male to win consecutive ATP singles titles. But it looks like history will have to wait. Raonic came up short once again at the tournament, losing to Austrian Jürgen Melzer. Melzer came out on top 7-5, 7-6 in the final, and he played the whole thing with a broken big toe. He marked the second straight year Raonic has been the runner-up in the tournament, losing last year's final to American Andy Roddick.
And there it is.
And when it rains, it pours, especially at the Daytona 500. The race was postponed today for the first time in its 54-year history after heavy rain saturated Daytona International Speedway. NASCAR officials spent more than 4 hours waiting for a chance to dry the track, but the rain just wouldn't let up. They were finally forced to call it a day, and the 500-mile race was rescheduled for noon tomorrow. Manitoba's Jennifer Jones has taken the bronze medal at the Canadian Women's Curling Championship with an 8-6 win over Quebec's Marie-France Larouche. A bronze medal game was added to the Scotties Tournament of Hearts format last year. Jones, a 4-time national champ, lost 6-5 in an extra end in Saturday's semi-final to Alberta's Heather Nedouin. Nedouin went on to beat BC's Kelly Scott 7-6 this afternoon to win the gold. And while the Habs' playoff hopes seem to be fading, the postseason for the women's hockey team over at McGill is just heating up. The Martlets dominated the Ottawa GGs this afternoon, winning the best-of-3 semifinal series. Number 17 Melody Daou registered 2 goals and 2 assists. Ottawa had 31 minutes in penalties compared to just 2 by the Martlets, and McGill converted on 3 of 9 power play chances. McGill advances to the best-of-3 league championship series against the Carabins. That series is scheduled to open on Wednesday. Today's play of the day, 7th hole of the Match Play Championship. Rory McIlroy trying to bump out Luke Donald as the #1 ranked golfer. Tee shot, boom shakalaka. Rory, though, totally unfazed. Doesn't win the tournament, though. The victory went to Hunter Mahan. He beat McIlroy 2-1 in the final, picking up his 2nd World Golf Championship title. With the win, Mahan moves into the top 10 spot for the first time in his career. Not sure what happened to the boom shakalaka guy.
Is that frowned upon to say something like that after a golfer?
Yeah, you should never say boom shakalaka in general, but especially when somebody's hitting a golf ball.
Thank you, Chantal. We're back to wrap things up right after this. Don't go away.